So Maor, when you are mastering, how do you approach it?
Well, first of all, I listen to the music, and I try to figure out what was the intention. Sometimes a recording represents an intention, but it's not coming out yet. Maybe it's not clear enough, maybe it's not punchy. So I try to understand what they were intending to say, or what's the idea behind it. And then I will connect different pieces of gear and try to find the sweet spot. Because I think every recording has a clue to where it needs to go. You can recognize either on the style of the music, the territory it comes from. It could be a certain style that like rock or pop, but it comes from a different country. So it has its own specific detailing, you know, like styling of how much high end they like, how much low end they like, what type of mid-range, how compression is there. So you figure out the style, you figure out the territory it comes from, and then where the market that they want to go to. If it's a band from Europe that wants to sound American, then you kind of shift their sound to the American market, or the opposite, American to Europe. Or they want to have something their own and can fit both. So you kind of understand that from the clues you get from the recording, and you figure out where you're going to take it. Every recording has a sweet spot where you can push it. If you push it over that, then that place, it starts to lose the intention. It becomes more fatiguing or more unfocused. So instead of showing what it needs to be, it starts to overpower itself and lose all that either dynamics or punch or clarity. So that's kind of an area where you want to find the point where you're not going over. Going under is fine, but you want to find that area where it really speaks, where when you hear the song, it just touches you, it like connects you, engages you to it. And that's probably, I think, the hardest part of the mastering, is to figure out where that point is. And you'll play around with EQ, compression, limiting, enhancement, stereo, whatever is needed, what tool is needed to put that mark on it. And it could be transparent, like small details, or it could be colored. That's what you kind of try to figure out. And once you get there, the music just talks. And that's where I'm trying each song that I master to go to. And sometimes you work on it and you decide that you got to pull out everything you put and start fresh again till you get to that point. So it's not just about competing with others, it's actually throwing yourself out there and saying your statement. That's what I'm trying to do when I'm playing with the sound and experimenting with different gear and settings to get it to that place where the listener engages himself with the listening experience. It becomes a deeper listening experience, of maybe even connecting on a personal level. Just like when you heard a certain album the first time and you're like, wow, I love it. Or you went to a concert and you come back home with a good feeling. So it's a lot about putting something out there that you memorize. And sound is part of it as well. It's the song, but it's also the envelope of it, or what connects that song to the listener in terms of sonics. So that's how I approach it. And it's a lot of trial and error, which things fit best. And try not to go overboard, because it's easy to lose yourself. So it's mainly focusing, and of course getting feedback from the client. You know, sometimes they want something specific.
Yeah.
So that's how I approach it. I'm a true believer of communications. Communication is key for me. And I tell them what I think, they tell me what they think, and if I think if what I thought is right or not. And in the end, we make something that works.
Cool.
How does the System 6000 help you getting this, what you mentioned before? How does it help you in this situation? Like hitting the sweet spot?
Well, because it's user-friendly and I can see everything I do visually too, in terms of when I'm moving the knob, the faders, I can see the numbers, and it's really easy to recall and has memory. I can set something and then go and change it and go back easily. And in today's world, recalls is kind of standard. It's very natural, that you'll work on a project and a day after you'll get, hey, could you do that?
Mm-hmm.
And you need to recall.
Yeah.
So I can recall everything. And also the numbers are very precise. In digital, the numbers are easy to write. In analog, it's a bit harder because it's more of a positioning of the switch. So either I can mark it on paper or, either by position or number. But here it's really easy. Either I can use the memory and just, have it set and I can go back to it, or I can actually write the numbers exact and it will always keep the same. Where in analog, it's not always the same. I can move it like really small increments and change it. Or if it's something that is switched, then it might be the same position, but who knows, maybe the gear is hotter now than it was before and it will sound a bit different. So there's a lot of benefits using a digital system, especially in recalling.